So welcome to my class, and in this, continuing on with Unit 2, we finished with collection of data, we finished with organization, and now we are doing presentation of data, and that we are doing tabular presentation of data. And in the tabular presentation of data, we are doing what is the format of a table. Just look at this. We are going to talk about the format of a table. So in the format of a table, what do you see? We have to make sure that there is a table number. So in the you will show there has to be, like for example, the construction of a table depends upon the objective of the study. It also depends upon the wisdom of the statistician, the person who is making the statistical table. Of course, there are no hard and fast rules for the construction of a table. However, some important guidelines must be kept in mind while we make the table. So these guidelines become the features of a good table to draw that table, that format. So how do we go? So there should be after giving the title table number, the title should be compatible with the objective of the study, and it should be placed in the top center of the table. Okay, and then we have what is known as head notes. In the head notes, you have to mention something that you were not able to put in the title. It can be even in the unit of measurement, if you want to put that as it's written out there, unit of measurement. Okay, then now some items in the table may need special emphasis. Such items should be placed in the head rows, that is top, above, or head columns, extreme left. Moreover, such items should be presented in bold figures. And another thing is that the table should be of an ideal size. A draft or a rough draft or a rough sketch must be drawn. That will give an idea as to how many rows and columns should be made, or how many cells we should have in the body of the table. All of that will be decided. Then also we have to make sure that headings should be generally written in singular form. For example, in the columns indicating goods, the word good should be used, not goods. And again, use of zero should be made only in the to quantify a variable. That means when you're writing the numbers, but you should not use it as non-availability of data. Suppose data is not given for some stub, or a column, don't put zero. You can either write NA, that is not available, or not applicable, or a hyphen saying that it is not available. If the data is not available, it can be written as not available, NA, but should not use a zero. So another thing which is important is comparison. So always make sure that there is some comparison for the items which are to be compared with each other. They should be placed in columns or rows close to each other. Then it becomes easier. Then talking about stubs, if the rows are very long, stubs may be given at the right hand side of the table also. Then also that goes for the captions, should be again self-explanatory. That also should be there. Then abbreviations should be avoided as far as possible. Short forms of the words, such as or short forms which are recognized, could be given, but don't make up your own short forms and put it there. And one should not use signs as ditto. This should not be used in the body of the table. Make sure that you follow these rules. Okay. Footnote should be given only if needed. However, if a footnote is to be given, you must put an asterisk mark or something like that corresponding to the concerned item. The units used must be specified above the column. If figures are very large, units may be noted in short forms like 000 hectares or 000 tons. Okay. Then in the table, subtotals of the items must be given at the end of each row, and the grand total of the items must be given, also be noted. And percentage figures should be provided in the table if possible. So anyways, as we go along, I'm going to explain it to you. Now what we've noticed is the table number, title, we talked about head notes, we've talked about column, we talk about the row headings, then we made these cells which are known as the body of the table, then we've shown footnotes, and then we've shown the source. Okay, now let's be practical. Now I'm going to read out, sometimes even certain problems are given or certain data is given as a questionnaire. You have to make a table based on that. So we made this table. It's a practical application of the format into a table. So say in 2019-20, total production of food grains was 2,850 lakh tons, of which production of rice, wheat and other crops was, these are the figures given respectively. Now percentage share of rice, wheat and other crops in the total production of food grains was given in percentage terms. Alright, so all of that. Now you have to make sure, now let's just start. You will write table number 1, give the table number, then the title. Let's put the title as, remember you can just take a screenshot of the format that we did. So the next thing is title. So production of food grain in India in 2019-20. Now in head notes you can give total in lakh tons and percentage. Subheading you can give as food grain. Row headings or stub entries you can give as rice, wheat and others, and you can put others as an asterisk. Then column heading or caption with subheads like production, total quantity, percentage of total food grain production. Now in the body of the table, please write down what is given as rice. You can write down 1,164, then 1,022, 664 and a total of 2,850. That is total quantity, and so on. Percentage 40.84%, 35.86%, 23.30%, which makes it 100. Now footnote, we put an asterisk there in others. Now others is all remaining food grains are included, and the source is given as economic survey. Is that right? So I've just read out the format to you. Once you know the format, you will be able to put the information in a format terms. So while reading, like when I was reading the information, it sounded so difficult, but once it's in a form of a table, it becomes so simple. All right, so like for example, here we have percentage figures. If they are provided, then it becomes even easier to understand, becomes simpler. And if there is an approximation, extent of approximation should be noted. That can be indicated at the top of the table. Okay, and the size, now important thing is, now look at this. Size of the columns must be uniform and symmetrical, which I've really not made well. My table certainly looks slipshod, but you must use a scale and make it very neatly. It should be symmetrical, and ruling of columns may be divided into different sections according to similarity of data which is there. And of course the table should be simple, attractive and economical in size. So these are the essentials of a good table. That was a specimen of a table, and as I said, when you read this, when you read it out, or read out whatever is given, the information, you read it textually, it's a little difficult, but when you put it in a table, it becomes easy to understand. So if I ask you a question based on this, you'll be able to answer. What was the percentage of rice in the total food grain production? You can give it. Just looking at it, at a glance, you can give the answers. So we'll continue on in the next class.